Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com, and today we are celebrating Scooby's 53rd birthday. It's so exciting. Before we start, I'll have everybody introduce themselves, and Wendy will start with you.
Hey guys, I'm Wendy BRYDGE. I'm a commissioned artist. I've been collecting Scooby for 30 plus years and super excited. Scooby's birthday. It's a big day of the year for all of us. We love Scooby, and 53 years is a long time, so we're excited.
Alexa?
Hey everyone, I'm Alexa LAWLOR. I am the host of the Unmasked History of Scooby-Doo podcast. Very excited to talk about Scooby's birthday.
And DANII.
I'm DANII MEGER. I'm a big Scooby-Doo collector and a voice actor, and I have the current Guinness World Record for biggest collection of Scooby-Doo memorabilia.
Yes, I'm excited to have you guys here because you guys are all big Scooby fans and it's Scooby's birthday. So what better way to celebrate it than with other fans that are just as excited as I am. So this is great. I can't believe it's the 53rd birthday already. Like, it just seems like yesterday we celebrated the 50th and now we are here 3 years later celebrating the 53rd. And it's just crazy to think about. Time is just going so fast.
Right? Like, where did those 3 years go?
Yeah. I contacted some people that worked on Scooby-Doo to find out what they love about Scooby-Doo. So we're going to read their answers for you, and we're going to find out what the people thought of Scooby-Doo that worked on him.
This is what Scott Innes, the voice actor who did Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Scrappy, Scott's a great guy. This is what Scott Innes had to say about what he loves about Scooby-Doo. That he represents the fun factor in all of us and doesn't take himself too seriously. He's the best buddy every kid has or wants to have. That one friend you can get into trouble with or just go get some food with.
And then Burnett Griffey, she was an artist painter for Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? She was also the inspiration for Velma. She said, the love, fun, and the memories of working on the original series, the diverse characters and the people I worked with. The stories were exciting and fun to anticipate how they would be solved and how Scooby would be part in solving the mystery. My memories of working on Scooby-Doo, that are the most precious to me and the people that are still friends today. Scooby-Doo's popularity today is a testament to all those people. I love Scooby-Doo.
Morgan Baden, author of the Daphne and Velma series, book 2 and 3, The Dark Deception and Buried Secrets. And small plug, if you're looking for something to read on Scooby's birthday, Buried Secrets is out as an ebook now. But she says, what I love about Scooby-Doo is its universal appeal and sense of humor, which connects people from all different walks of life at a time when we need connection.
And this one is from Lance Falk, an artist and animator and writer on Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders, Scooby-Doo Witches Ghosts, and Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, a lot of favorites. And he said, if I had to pick one, I'd say how well constructed the main cast is. From Iowa's very appealing designs to the great voice work to the way they all have distinctive personalities that just click together in any combination. It's very easy to want these guys as friends. They look fun to hang out with.
We all agree we would hang out with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And John Dusenberry, artist on Scoob and head of story on Scoob Holiday Haunt, said, I think what I love most about Scooby-Doo is how it has lived on past its initial run to become a cultural icon. It's ubiquitous now, and it's worked itself into pop culture. From the end of Wayne's World in the 90s to Doctor Strange and Only Murders in the Building, if someone even mentions the word mystery, it almost immediately evokes Scooby and the gang.
Michael Korinsky, the production designer of Scoob and director of Scoob Holiday Haunt, said, what I love most about Scooby-Doo is the formula. The gang comes into town, goes to the old mine, abandoned amusement park, or the rundown inn. A mystery presents itself. Fred says his catchphrase, and they jump into action. Velma finds clues, Shaggy and Scooby eat something, Daphne says jeepers. In the end, they trap the ghost or monster and pull off the mask. We get a great ending catchphrase about those meddling kids, and then the gang heads off to the next mystery. Those tropes and a few that I missed, like Velma losing her glasses, have become ingrained in our culture. You can say those catchphrases to just about anyone at any age, and they know what you're talking about. In short, Scooby-Doo is like comfort food or your favorite sweatshirt. It feels good every time.
And Jerry Beck, an animation historian and author, says Scooby-Doo, the show, features characters we can identify with, either one or all. Solving mysteries is what life is all about, and the show proves we can do that with teamwork and humor. Scooby the character is the one I identify with, because I'm always hungry for snacks.
And then Bob Nesler, animator for the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo and other series and movies, said, I think what I like most is how the gang all work together, revealing the strengths of each of them towards solving the problem. I also really enjoy the eating habits of Scooby and Shaggy. Lots of speed lines animating them.
Nicole Johnson, the Scooby-Doo Monster Jam truck driver, said, I love that Scooby responds so well to Scooby snacks. I gave Scoob extra snacks before each Monster Jam show and he never disappointed.
Michael Burkowski, storyboard artist for Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue and Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, said, what I love about Scooby-Doo is that it can be anything it wants to be. It can be action, suspense, horror, mystery, weird, drama, love story, and then at any moment, it can go right into silly comedy.
And Dwayne Poole, writer from Laugh Olympics, Scooby Goes Hollywood, The Scooby-Doo Show, and Scooby and Scrappy Show, says, I love Scooby because he was the first star I ever wrote for, and never once said, I won't say that line.
And John Colton-Berry, writer for Be Cool Scooby-Doo, said, what I love about Scooby-Doo is that after 53 years of different approaches and versions, an entire subdivision of psychology can probably be established based on an individual's reaction to the various series. Scooby-Doo has become a pop culture Rorschach test.
Scott Gerald's storyboard artist, director, and producer on A Pup Named Scooby-Doo and other series and movies, as well as being a comic book artist and book illustrator, said, what's not to love about Scooby-Doo? I love the endearing characters that are truly a group of mismatched friends. I love the formula-based plots that always end up with those meddling kids thwarting the villain. I love Iwo Takamoto's flawlessly intricate character designs that with one glance, you know each character's personality immediately. I love the fact that I get the same feeling now watching the show that I had when I watched the original Saturday morning premiere. I love that Scooby and the gang have been a huge part of my life for the last 53 years. In 1969, I was 9 years old when the show premiered, and 17 years later, I was actually at Hanna-Barbera working on the series. But what I love the most is that I have had a professional relationship with Scooby and the gang continuously for the past 37 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with the franchise. Scooby-Doo has been very good to me.
Bob Singer, the character designer, layout artist, design supervisor for Scooby-Doo Where Are You and some other Scooby series, said, there were many comedy teams in vaudeville and in films where one guy was the straight man and the other the dumb one. Scooby and Shaggy upset that tradition as they were both scaredy cats, opening up new avenues of humor that never ended.
And Mitch Watson, the producer for Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, said that I think most of all, I like that despite all of their ups and downs, when push comes to shove, the Scooby gang have a friendship that endures. That is their strength. They are there for each other no matter what.
Daniel Altier, writer for Scooby-Doo The Mystery Begins and Scooby-Doo Curse of the Lake Monster, said, what I love about Scooby-Doo is its reliability. You always know Vilma's going to lose her glasses, you always know Fred is going to suggest splitting up and searching for clues, and you always know the bad guy is going to get unmasked. As far as writing Scooby-Doo, there's no greater satisfaction than coming up with a great Scooby line.
Slade Echeverria, lead singer and bassist for Ann Arbor, who performed the What's New Scooby-Doo theme song in Scooby-Doo The Mystery Begins, said, I love the culture that it has brought to this world and the carefree vibe that the show gives off. Also love that Scooby and Shaggy are low-key stoners. We were very lucky to be a part of the legacy that Scooby-Doo carries. I wish we could have done more.
Ruth Elliott Hillston, assistant animator for the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show, said, what I love about Scooby is the harmless, scary fun. Any perceived evil is always overcome by goodness and justice in the end. It's a thrill ride with a happy ending and a positive message for kids.
Bill Haller, head of animation on Scoob and director of Scoob Holiday Haunt, said that growing up watching and being inspired by Scooby-Doo is a big part of why I chose animation as a career. It's an honor to have been able to work on 3 of the franchise's movies. Here's just a few of the things I love about Scooby-Doo. Scooby is afraid of everything. He's a big chicken and he reminds us that it's okay to be scared. I love the balance between scary situations and comedy. What always happens as a result of Scooby and Shaggy's inner emotions being exaggerated is something I feel and can relate to. And it always provides an opportunity for super fun visual entertainment. I might not defy gravity and distort my body when running away from something that scares me, but I sure feel like I do. Scooby-Doo shows that. I love the innocence of Scooby and that he has many flaws. It makes him appealing and relatable. And last, I love that Scooby-Doo has crossed 3 generations. It's a character that has stood the test of time. And my hope is that it lasts for another 50 years.
Tom Conkle, writer, voice actor for Be Cool Scooby-Doo, said, "What I love about Scooby-Doo is that it's such a great idea if you can play with so many stories and create so many relationships with the characters. What I love about Scooby-Doo is its mysterious simplicity."
Rich Dickerson, composer for What's New Scooby-Doo theme song, said, "The What's New Scooby-Doo theme song. I remember walking into Christopher Keenan's office and he told me he wanted to give me first crack at writing a new Scooby-Doo theme song. As soon as he said the title of the show, I had the song written in my head. I went to the studio, wrote and recorded the song, and sent it over to him all in the same day. He said he loved it, and the rest is history."
Raj Paran did graphics for the Scooby-Doo show. He said, "For 53 years, Scooby's immense popularity continues to amuse and delight everyone, including those of us who worked on the show. As Hanna-Barbera's art director in charge of designing the show's titles and merchandising art, I must say the canine salesman's popularity helped products grow tremendously. Scooby, this timeless character who is recognizable worldwide, and has his own multilingual bark, in my opinion, is a gentle giant, super charming, no-fuss, clumsy character who reluctantly, in a hilarious way, finds solutions to aid the gang in solving mysteries."
Lane Reichert, writer and storyboard artist for A Pup Named Scooby-Doo and other Scooby series, says that what I love about Scooby-Doo is their lasting friendship through thick and thin. Though sometimes they drive each other crazy, they always stick by each other and work it out in the end.
Tristan Cole, a background painter for What's New Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, and several Scooby-Doo movies, said, "I love the creators of the show and working with them, especially Scott Gerald's, Owl, Jerry, and Joe. I've always loved the painting style of Walt Paraguay on the Scooby-Doo Where Are You series, the looseness and atmosphere of his paintings, and the mainly blue palette. I love the funky 70s style, and I love that a big clumsy dog is the main character. I love Iowa's character designs, and I love the Mystery Machine. So many reasons."
Leslie Stern, author of Living with a Legend, which was about her stepfather, Iwo Takamoto, said, "I love Scooby mostly because he impacted my family so much. Scooby, as my mom put it, paid for our house. I wrote a book about my stepdad, Living with a Legend, which he was."
Scott Neely, artist of Scooby-Doo comics and books, said, "First thing that always appealed to me were the spooky painted backgrounds, which always were a step above the other shows. They conveyed a sense of suspense to it all that fueled a mystery. The original series, done in 69-70, had the best backgrounds. Quantity versus quality. Also, all the clones they did based on the Scooby Gang in the 70s, they knew the dynamics were set in stone and worked extremely well. So we then got Speed Buggy, Jabberjaw, etc., etc. Just sub out the dog for another thing. Second thing was the monster designs. Designing a monster that is eye-catching while keeping the design simple, as to ease the monotony of animating it frame by frame, is key. One rule of design is KISS, or keep it simple, stupid. Some of the most iconic Scooby monsters are incredibly simple in design and work amazingly well on screen. Another was creating a balanced, symmetric design that could be flipped and reused, such as a monster running left to right can be flipped to show him running right to left. Also, with animation, you don't have to deal with the rubber mask look, which tells you it's a guy in a costume. Also, with the shows, you could get a little scary in the designs. I had to round off sharp teeth to make them less scary. A simple trick to soften a monster, but you can always balance that out with great lighting and make them creepy again. Third thing was the gang itself. They were teens who could work out their own issues, and there was no parental figures around, for the most part, outside of the sheriff or town locals. They wandered around in a van and solved mysteries. Fourth thing I loved, no phones and no texting constantly. People gave you their full attention and you hung out with real friends. The reality of Scooby-Doo was that a gang of 4 and a dog could be in dire circumstances and they would be there for each other. This proves a lifelong trope that in reality is proven true. You can basically count your real friends on one hand. These are the ones you rely on when you get the 3 a.m. call.
Charles Grosvenor, layout supervisor for the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo and other Scooby-Doo series, said that what is so wonderful and appealing about the Scooby-Doo series is that it deals with a very scary subject for children, death and the possibility of evil entities in the afterlife, in a very lighthearted manner, and usually with the evil real estate agent or uncle creating a ghostly ruse. As a child, this subject was handled humorously for me in movies like Abbott and Costello's Hold That Ghost. Many years later, it was Ghostbusters that did the spook spoofing. I think this is a very important service the show provides for children, spearheaded by its slobbering, chuckling, Scooby Snacks loving Great Dane himself, Scooby-Doo.
Jerry Eisenberg, storyboard and layout artist for Scooby-Doo Where Are You, said, I like the Scooby-Shaggy relationship and interaction the most. I was involved in the original development of that show, and I think that it might have been Ruby or Spears who developed their relationship, or possibly Joe Barbera or Fred Silverman, and I really like the addition of Vilma to the cast.
George Doty IV, writer, producer for What's New Scooby-Doo and writer of other Scooby-Doo direct-to-TV films, said, I think my favorite thing about Scooby is how many different versions there have been throughout the years. It seems like everyone has a different favorite series, or at least one they grew up on that meant a lot to them.
John Sazaklis, author of the Scooby-Doo Mini Mysteries books, says, what I love about Scooby-Doo, I love that it was something I enjoyed as a kid and can share with my daughter now that I'm a dad. I love that I am now part of the Scooby family, telling stories of Mystery Inc. for new generations. Scooby-Doo is a perfect blend of spooky and kooky, which are the two main ingredients in my series called Boo Books. Stories of just right frights for kids. That love of storytelling does find its way back to Scooby-Doo.
Jane Barbera, the ink and paint supervisor on the new Scooby-Doo movies and production manager on many Scooby-Doo series and movies, as well as, of course, being Joseph Barbera's daughter, says that the things that I love most about Scooby are his extremely handsome looks and his excellent command of the English language. Happy birthday, Scooby!
It's really cool to hear what the people that worked on Scooby-Doo had to say about Scooby-Doo and just how much they really love the characters and the show. And some of these people grew up on Scooby-Doo and then got to work on it. It's just amazing that, one, they answered the question. I think it's great that they responded and yeah, just to hear their answers, it just makes me so happy. It really does.
The fact that a lot of them were the same but different.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was just really cute.
Yeah, they all did seem to really admire Scooby-Doo, and it was a big part of a lot of their lives. I mean, it was their job, but who wouldn't have fun working on Scooby-Doo? Like,
Right.
Wendy, what are your thoughts on what they had to say?
Yeah, I do think it was great that so many people that worked on the show did have a love for it. I mean, we have met people that were like, nah, it was my job, and it was paid, it paid the bills. And that's cool. And I totally understand that, but it's always special when you love a property so much and then you learn that the people that were tasked with bringing it to life also had some kind of a love for it. And definitely interesting to see kind of a repeat in the answer, but I mean, that would be my answer too. All of those things, like that is what's great about Scooby-Doo. I can't think of who it was, but someone that we spoke to recently said that Scooby was like a warm blanket. And to me, that is such like a great way of looking at it, because like there's something in it for everyone. and there's so much room for you to use your imagination. And I think that that's what's really great about Scooby, and I'm glad that a lot of people recognize that. And it's just so cool to see that, you know, people that worked on him also appreciate him beyond the "it was my job" kind of stage. And because you have to think that if you love Scooby too, then while you were working on it, you maybe put in like a little bit of extra effort to keep it, you know, this thing that you love, and make sure that other people can enjoy it the way that you enjoy it. So yeah, that was so awesome to see what other people that actually had a hand in creating it had to say about it.
Alexa, what are your thoughts on what they had to say?
One of my favorite things is hearing stories about how people grew up watching Scooby-Doo and then went on to work on it and then made like all of these movies or shows, or like, you know, some people have worked on it for years and years, which is awesome. Yeah, I love that everyone has like a different way of putting it, but it's generally like the same message about Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I love that it shows in Scooby-Doo when the people that work on it really love it too.
DANII, what are your thoughts on what everyone had to say?
I think it's a really good sign that so many people wanted to talk about it. And I think it's cool to hear their voices, because a lot of people forget how many people are involved, that real people are involved in making this show that we all care about so much. And all of them get it, and all of them got it, and they still care enough to want to tell us about it. It's just another sign of how important Scooby is.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I mean, we love Scooby-Doo. Obviously, we all love Scooby-Doo. There's no denying that.
Just a little bit.
But like for me, Scooby just makes me happy. You know, I can sit down and watch an episode, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be just completely happy. And yeah, it's for it to have that impact, it really helps me to de-stress. It helps me to, you know, I come home from work, and if I walk into the Scooby room, it's like everything I had to deal with all day just kind of goes away. So Scooby is like my support animal. DANII, what do you love about Scooby-Doo?
Pinpointing like exactly what it is difficult, because there's like so much to that idea. Like when I was little, the first thing I was sold on was dog. Literally, that's it. And that's me at like age 3, but still I was like, dog. And then the mysteries, the spooky things made me love it more. And then as I got older, I fell in love with the characters. I fell in love with animation and voice acting. It's why I'm a voice actor now. It kept compounding and compounding, because I just found more and more in the details that made me like it. And in general, like the show is just safe to me. It's fun, it's wholesome, goofy, exciting, relatable. And like it covers so many things that I know people can't help to relate to it or enjoy some part about it. And that's another reason that I really like it. I know other people like it as well, and it makes them happy, which just gets me more excited about it. So it's just, I also like that the show itself is like really unassuming. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to break barriers or top itself or be edgy or anything like that. It moved through the times and adapted, and it's still true to itself. So that amazing simplicity will make it whatever you need it to be at the time. And that's why I think it's recognizable and still going now. And that's why I think it's really special.
Alexa, why do you love Scooby-Doo?
There's so many reasons, really, but I, like you said, Nikki, like I love coming home after a long day and like watching an episode of Scooby-Doo, and then like it takes you back to when you were a kid watching it, but it's also like it's still relevant in a way, and it still like makes you happy. And I wrote something which I'm gonna kind of read through here, but really, like, I love everything about Scooby-Doo, and I love that I can take Scooby-Doo into my everyday life as well, like, and just have that little bit of joy by like throwing a Scooby-Doo quote into an everyday conversation, like even if no one else gets it, it makes me happy. And I love that with Scooby-Doo, you can often see pieces of yourself within each character, whether it's taking the lead like Fred, or being resourceful and independent while looking great like Daphne, or having an explanation to any situation through intelligence, observation, and research like Velma, or just having those moments where you're just plain scared or hungry like Shaggy and Scooby. And I love that Scooby shows that your fears and your monsters aren't necessarily really that scary at all when you face them head on and follow the clues. And it's often just a man in a mask, although I do love the supernatural versions as well. But overall, I really love that at the end of the day, the gang has a great friendship and they can laugh at the day's spooky events with often a well-placed Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Wendy, what do you love about Scooby?
I think DANII said a word that I hadn't considered it before, but I was like, that's it when she said it. And that is, it's safe. And it really is safe for, in my opinion, for everyone. It's wholesome. It doesn't, it teaches you lessons without like wagging its finger in your face. You don't feel like it's trying to teach you something. And yet if you watch it, I guarantee you will learn valuable lessons that you can carry throughout your life, which is so important, especially for kids. But even now as an adult, I mean, we said it before, there's a lot of negative stuff in the world. And to have this one perfect thing that when you go to watch it, it's not going to upset you. It's not going to make you cry unless maybe it's happy tears because something really, really nice happens in the episode. It's not going to leave you feeling worse than when you sat down to watch it, which I feel like a lot of entertainment today, that's what happens. It doesn't make you feel good. It just makes you feel worse about yourself or the world or life in general. Scooby never does that. Scooby is just this one bright positivity bomb. And it doesn't matter what episode you're watching or what's going on, we get to see that quintessential good versus evil, and good always wins. That is so important. My goodness, the older I get, the more I need to see that, and I just love that that was what they wanted to do with that. They wanted to set a good example for kids and for adults, and the way that show just came together so that it is appropriate for both children and adults to watch it. And it's not boring. It's not dumbed down. It's so perfect. I don't think that there will ever be another cartoon that hits all the boxes and all the notes quite the way that Scooby did. I mean, they've tried to replicate the formula, but we know it's not just about the formula. There's something else intangible to Scooby. And I really do think, especially after hearing what all of these creators had to say about what they love about him, I think that they are a huge part of that. It's the people that worked on him. It's the people that created him, that painted, that drew, that wrote, because I think that they had a passion for what Scooby was meant to do. And when you have all of those people working together, you're going to end up with a pretty great result, I think. And I don't know what better result we could get than the Scooby that we have. And it's got something for everyone. It's interesting. It's scary, but it's not so scary that you can't watch it if you're younger. And so much room to use your imagination. The artwork in it is something that definitely inspired me when I was a kid and continues to inspire me. It's beautiful artwork. I mean, everything about it is just great, and everyone poured their heart and soul into it, and it's obvious. If it wasn't, then we wouldn't be talking about him 53 years after he was born. It wouldn't matter if it wasn't like that. So it's just the best. I don't know what else can you say? Scooby's the best. If you don't agree, then leave. Your opinion's invalid today. For Scooby's birthday, your opinion's invalid. Any other day, you can have whatever opinion you want. But for today,
That's funny. Like DANII, when I first saw Scooby-Doo, it was the dog, but not just the dog, the talking dog. I always wanted a talking dog. And I mean, you know, it's not happened yet, but I still feel like there might be some hope. But I do, you know, I get to watch Scooby. He talks, he makes me happy. The gang, their friendship, their bond, you know, they do anything for each other. And, you know, we've learned so many life lessons from Scooby-Doo. It's just like you guys said, it's wholesome and it's safe. That's a great word, DANII, safe. And yeah, it's something that if something makes you happy, it's a good thing. There's so much in the world that's, you know, stressful, things that are happening that are out of your control, but Scooby-Doo makes us happy. So, you know, we spend a lot of time with Scooby or around Scooby stuff, and it works for us. It makes us feel good, and that's a good thing. It's also amazing how many people have worked on Scooby-Doo through the years. 53 years, so many people have worked on it. It's crazy how they've all come together to work on the show. You know, regardless of how they may feel about Scooby-Doo, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into creating what they created for us. And, you know, it's amazing and we love it. And we hope that Scooby continues. 53 years is a long time, but we want him to go for another like 200 years. We won't see it, but we want to know that he's still going strong.
yeah.
Scooby is immortal.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
And one of the things that I love is that you can take the colors of the gang, like the purple and the orange and the red and the green and the blue, and you immediately know what it is. Like it can just be like bars of color beside each other and you're like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and they've stuck with those colors. They haven't really, besides a few changes in some series, but they haven't really strayed from the colors. So you always, even if their outfit isn't quite the same, you still recognize them as the characters because they're still in those colors. We need to say happy birthday. We're not going to sing this time. We're not going to sing. The group singing didn't work so well last time. You can check that out in one of the blooper videos. But yeah, like just what happy birthday wish do you have for Scooby, Alexa?
I wrote something down, so I'm just gonna read it. Happy birthday, Scooby. The past 53 years have been super great, producing numerous shows, TV shows, movies, and different merchandise. I can only hope that the next 53 years are the same. On one of the DVD special features, Scott Ennis sings that America's in love with Scooby-Doo, but really, Scooby, the whole world loves you. And to quote Scooby Goes Hollywood, Scooby-Doo, we need you.
Aw, that was cute. I like it. Wendy, what kind of birthday message do you have for Scooby?
Yeah, so I have a little Scooby here because you always need a Scooby to like give a little cuddle to. But happy birthday, Scooby. You have been there for so many people in your life, which is more than a lot of real people can say about their own life. You know what I mean? And never let anyone tell you that you're not important, because you are important to us. And I know I can speak for all four of us. We are going to love you forever. I mean, may or may not be Scooby coffins in the very distant future for some of us. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, but it could happen, you know, it's possible. But Scooby will live on, and not that he needs us to, but I know that we are all going to actively participate in sharing the love of Scooby with anyone who will listen and help keep him alive. And Scooby, we love you. You're so perfect. There's nothing that I would change about Scooby. So happy birthday. You're perfect.
Danny, what is your birthday message to Scooby?
I also have a Scoob for good measure. Only one though. Only one. Very simple happy birthday to Scooby. The entire franchise has brought so much to us over the years that I owe a lot to Scooby, and I think a lot of people do. So here's to many more years of joy and fun and safety. And thanks, Scooby, for everything.
Happy 53rd birthday, Scooby. I can't say anything that different than anyone else has already said. You bring a lot of joy to our lives, and we thank you. And I also want to thank everybody that answered, what do you love about Scooby-Doo? We really appreciate you taking the time to send us your answers. And your answers were amazing. It's so great to hear what you guys have to say. So thank you so much. Let us know in the comments below why you love Scooby-Doo. And thank you for joining us for another Scooby panel.
Yay!